I'm a 34-year-old single woman, and I've started to do this thing recently where people ask me like, oh, is there like a special someone in your life or like whatever? And I just like can't get it up. I'm just like, no. And I let the silence settle. I don't like justify it or like add a reason. I'm just like, no. And generally that person ends up feeling like weird. And I don't even fault them because like society tells us that like you should ask me that. But like, I just don't have it in me. I'm just like, no, I don't.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, several modern women share their views on relationships. We'll see how one says her grandmother suffered in her marriage, while others express their fear of being rejected by the man they like. Make that like button feel your support and join the channel by subscribing. Add some of your love to the movement. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Share your experiences in the comments to guide other men. Without further ado, let's get started.
You know what the crazy part is? That we probably both like each other, but we probably won't be together because we're both stubborn and we won't let each other know. Like, we'll give each other hints. Like, I'll sometimes like your stories. You'll always like my stories. But at the end of the day, our ego and pride is just way too big. It's too big for this world. And if you don't reach out to me, I'm not going to reach out to you. And if I don't reach out to you, you're probably not going to reach out to me. So we're going to go out sad about each other. But at least we like each other behind the scenes. And we can admire each other behind the scenes without actually ever being in a relationship. But we know what's going on. And we can telepathically communicate. But we won't actually ever physically communicate. Because that's just too much. That's just doing the most. So we'll just end up slowly growing apart as the days go on. Because our pride and our ego, it's just way too big.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
When I was a teenager, my father gave me the most important advice for the courting stage. Don't fall in love alone. This means stop idealizing someone, stop creating a Disney movie in your head about a person who, in reality, might not even know you exist. He told me if you want something, go for it. The worst that can happen is they say no. That advice has always worked for me. It saved me time, and especially from romanticizing someone who doesn't feel the same way about me. This woman has an entire movie playing in her head, and it's possible that the guy doesn't even know she likes him. Men are bad at picking up unclear signals. When it comes down to it, she's the one who's in love with him, and she's afraid of being rejected, so she doesn't approach him. Maybe to that guy, she's not attractive, or he sees her as just a friend. That happens a lot when a woman is in the friend zone with a Chad, thinking he secretly loves her, when in reality, she's just his female friend. Men, if you like someone, go for it. The worst that can happen is they say no, but at least you'll get rid of that doubt about what could happen or could have happened.
I was not over him for a really, really long time. And I still actually don't know if I am. I saw him and he didn't acknowledge I existed. He was with another girl, which is like, good. You should. It's not like we should be together. But he didn't acknowledge I existed. And after that, I was like, oh, okay.
Usually when someone won't approach you, when someone's ignoring you, you're like, how could you hate me when you broke my heart? The reality is that because they know what they did was so wrong. Every time they look at you, they have to remember the person they were when they were with you. And it's not a good feeling to remember, oh, I was a piece of but I don't view myself a piece of anymore, so I'd rather just avoid you. That's why that person would avoid you. Not because, ew, she's disgusting or what a loser, I can't believe I ever dated. It's more like, if I look at her, I'm going to be reminded that I did something terrible. It doesn't make me feel good about myself.
You're so right on that.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Women have a bigger ego than men. A woman will never accept that she wasn't unforgettable in a man's life, even with her exes, because that would hurt her ego. How could he not remember me if I'm the best thing that ever happened to him? The problem is when they get involved with these players or chads, men who bring nothing to the table but seed. This type of guy dates multiple women, and when it comes down to it, you were just a one-night stand. That's why he doesn't look at you or reach out to talk. He doesn't want anything more with you. Here we see how she's still checking up on him, knowing he has a new partner because this Chad has her on an emotional roller coaster. And as I've explained before, love and hate are feelings. Sometimes hate is even stronger. In her mind, she's still hung up on that man, which is why she keeps investigating him, why she's selling herself the excuse of why he left her. She wants to convince herself that the Chad didn't play her, that he feels bad when he sees her because he still remembers her. Please, you were just another one. Get over it.
Grandma, you little victim. What the?
My grandmother was 14 to 15 years old when she got pregnant. My grandfather was around 20, 21, 23, 22. I'm not sure. It bounces back and forth. I have no idea. All I know is she gave birth around the age of 15. She had gone on a petty date with him. Not even like, oh, I want to go on a date with this guy. This guy's asked me out. No, I think it was a double date, and her friend wanted her to go on a date with her and this guy's friend, which turned out to be my grandfather. And she ended up pregnant. I'm not sure if they dated a little bit before the pregnancy happened or like right the first date. But my grandmother's mom said, I am not raising a child. I'm not raising another child. Had enough. You're going to go marry that man. My grandmother did not want to marry him. Not one bit. She downright refused, but ended up marrying him anyway, because what was she going to do? She was about 15 years old and ready to pop. He didn't allow her to drive, didn't allow her to have a job. Her job was to cook, clean, and take care of the kids. She had her second son when she was still in her teens. The third son, which was my father, came out when she was in her 20s. And he was an oops, just like the first one. An oops. They stayed together up till my grandmother passed away in 2020. My grandmother didn't know life without a man who treated her horribly. He was abusive. He did drugs. Eventually he turned to the Lord and thought he was the best thing ever. No, not the Lord, not Jesus. No, himself. He thought he was the best thing ever. Thought that the man was the best thing that ever happened. Towards the end of my grandmother's death, towards when I started sticking up for her, because I was in my 20s, I could see it. I knew what was happening. They were no longer the happy little grandparents that I knew as a child that they would put on when I was around. And I would tell him where to go shove it. He did not like that. He told me I'm going to hell. I told him I would see him there. Sadly, he is still of the living. Why, I do not know. Why are old people like this? Why was this such a normal thing back in that day? These older men going after young teenage girls, or even just, like the last one I heard was like an 8-year-old. A man in his 30s going after an 8-year-old. That is disgusting.
The grandmother didn't raise her well, because just look at how the granddaughter turned out, a woman from the purple hair movement. Let me tell you something. As an outsider, you don't really know what happens inside a relationship. The story sounds great depending on who's telling it. Divorce was legalized in 1969. Her grandmother died in 2020. She could have divorced in the 90s or 2000s. She could have left that man, gotten a job, or wanted to study to be more than just a housewife. She could have made her own decisions, or maybe she just liked the comfort of being a housewife, not having to worry about working. Maybe she had problems. No one is perfect. But I didn't see this man holding a gun to her head, forcing her to stay with him all her life. She never made a decision for herself. All I see is that her grandmother was a woman who stayed married all her life, who had her struggles but didn't abandon her marriage. In the end, she raised several children, had a good family, even if there was one bad apple in the garden like this granddaughter. She did her job as a mother and died as a married lady.
I remember reading like a text post about some philosophy professor, and he was like, do you think love is a feeling or a choice? And what it boiled down to was, as you get older, love is a choice. And when you think about it, it's true. Like, you choose to continue maintaining your friendships despite distance and life changing. You choose to keep calling them and reaching out and remember their birthday. It's the same in romantic love, because if love is a feeling, you can't rely on a feeling. Like, think about the last time you were angry. That didn't last forever. The last time you were happy. That didn't last forever. Feelings don't last forever. You cannot rely on a feeling forever. But hearing that love is a choice and not just a feeling was such a huge relief for me, because if all I have to do is keep choosing the same person every day, I can do that. If I have to trust myself to feel that same feeling until I die for a person, terrifying. I can't promise that I'll be happy forever. I can't promise that my feelings will remain my feelings through a lifetime, but I can promise to choose someone every day for the rest of my life, the way I choose my friends.
That does make me feel a big relief, because I am so scared of being with someone for the rest of my life. How beautiful is that someone gets to choose you every single day?
Like, at the root of it, I think that that's what love is choosing to care and choosing to show up and choosing to share with the people in your life over and over and over again. Even when it's hard, even when it's easy, even when you're distracted, even when there's a lot of things going on, choosing the people you love and choosing to show up for them and choosing to let them show up for you is love.
Yeah.
Love is not a feeling, it's a choice. When you choose to marry someone, it's for better or worse. The problem is people only hear for better. Love has its moments of euphoria, moments where desire and happiness are at their peak. But like everything in life, we get used to it. That dream apartment of yours, 2 years later, you won't see it the same way, just like with your car or anything else, because nothing brings infinite happiness. As the saying goes, even beauty gets boring. That's why you must choose your partner every day. Choose to respect your vows. Choose to improve together. We live in a time of low tolerance and quick returns. I don't like something, I return it. I don't want to be here, I leave. This person didn't do this for me. I replace them. That's how you get trapped in a life where you only enjoy the dopamine rush of something new for a few moments, then end up hitting the wall because the wall doesn't forgive.
The truth is that today is my birthday, and if you go back and look, you can see that I've made, I don't even know, 3 videos today in the car in this spot. But the truth is that I've been sitting in this parking lot trying to go in and get a coffee for 2 hours, and I'm just crying. Life is so hard sometimes, and social media is such a highlight reel, and working in content marketing is so hard because it requires me to show up. And there's a lot of fucking shit that makes life hard. And I might probably delete this later, but it's just, man, you guys, it's so hard when you work in content marketing and your life is a roller coaster and you're dealing with stuff, but your job requires you to show up. So hard.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
My God, so much pain for recording yourself on camera. She's suffering because her job is so painful, having to keep entertaining her fans. Even beauty gets boring. Everything sounds nice until you realize the business doesn't work if you don't put in the effort, that you're a slave to your own success. So, get to work. You're strong and independent. Those guys on the Blue app already paid their $4.95 a month to see you smile, so cheer up. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about the idea that love is a choice, not a feeling? What's your opinion on the story about this woman's grandmother? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.